folks, and welcome back to another episode of Friday Night Spotlight, brought to you by 911 Air Repair, your local air conditioning expert specializing in maintenance, repair, and new installations. We are getting just closer to the end of the regular season for our smaller schools. This is the second to the last week, and for our bigger schools, they just got a little bit more to go. But talking about our big schools, our game of the week involves two Pinal County teams. It is Poston Butte. They're going to be traveling up to Apache Junction. And while, we kind of didn't expect this season from these two teams, we're expecting another big game because these two teams always bring it when they're playing against one another. But David, what are you expecting in this matchup?
Well, yeah, you said it right there. I'm expecting a slugfest. These teams love to go at each other whenever they're marked to play against each other in the season, and I'm expecting the same here. I mean, both teams are kind of desperate for wins here. I think they still have a lot to prove throughout the year, and they want to end the season on a high note. The season has not been kind to either Poston Butte or Apache Junction. More on the Apache Junction side, they just had some tough times out there with a lot of young players that are still trying to find their footing. And same thing for Poston Butte. They're still having a lot of young guys step up. So I'm just expecting kind of a slugfest here. I think they're going to, again, what makes Poston Butte special is their run game. They're going to rely on that once again. Apache Junction is just on their young guys like De Leon, the quarterback, to be able to kind of continue to improve and move forward. I don't think the game plan is for them to go out and just, go crazy here. I think they just want to, instill a very simple and very, just routine offense where they can kind of start building some momentum throughout the rest of the season and into next year. A lot of these guys are young. These guys still have a lot to prove, and they're still looking to show what they can do in this point in the season. So I think that's just going to be the kind of the game plan here. I'm going to take Poston Butte to win this one. I think they go up there and they get a win against Apache Junction, and I think it's just going to come down to what they can do to not only finish the season out strong, but get ready for next season. I think, unfortunately, this season may be a little bit of a lost one for both, but it's just all about now finding the right routines and getting the right guys in the right positions to get that experience they need to go after it again next season.
When looking at these two teams in the past, this matchup has kind of been like a highlight for us, but Poston Butte has always been able to come out on top, even when Apache Junction had that their big three the past couple of years. This year, I think Poston Butte has still the superior just all-around team here. Looking at Apache Junction, they've been able to put up some points. They're averaging 29.6 points a game. However, they are only 1-7 on the season. Like David mentioned it, offense hasn't been a problem for them. It's been their defense. And I think with Poston Butte, they love to run the ball. When you run the ball, you control the clock. And that's going to hurt Apache Junction if they can't stop the Broncos. For Poston Butte, I mean, it pretty much just comes down to can they execute their game plan. And also on top of that, they're coming off a bye. Like I've mentioned it before, this can be a good and this can be a bad thing. For some of our teams last week, like Florence, they were coming off a bye. It proved off to work against them a little bit. So hopefully, this time around for Poston Butte, it works in the opposite direction and it does help them out a bit. Transitioning over to our what to watch, David, what do you have your eye on this week?
I'm keeping it in Casa Grande. We're going to talk about Vista Grande here going up against Mesquite. And like you talked about the bye weeks, Vista Grande is coming off a bye as well. So we're going to have to see how they adjust to that. And going up against Mesquite, that's going to be a tough task. Mesquite can surprise a lot of people, and they're a tough team. They've kind of been a Pinal County killer so far. They've beaten Maricopa, and they've beaten Combs so far this year. So they're probably looking to get another win against a Pinal County opponent. But I think Vista Grande, this is the time to either put up or shut up, because you guys got a playoff spot on the line here, and you could really decide whether, how you want to spend that first round. They could possibly find a spot in the top 8 if they get a little bit lucky here, but it's still looking a little bit tough for them on that end. But Vista Grande is definitely looking to just kind of continue to gain wins, move up in the rankings a little bit, see where they can lie in a more favorable position when it comes to the playoffs, because I'm not saying it's a lock yet, but there's definitely a good chance for them making the playoffs, and I think that's definitely their goal so far. So they're just trying to continue to rack wins. What they do best is continue, like you said, on Poston Butte, to keep the run game going for the Spartans. I think they do a really solid job at that, and I think they're going to continue to try to elevate that and continue to move forward with that. So I like Vista Grande in this matchup. I'm going to give them a win in this one, kind of, get a little revenge on their other Pinal County teams that weren't able to get the job done against Mesquite. And I like the Spartans here, and I think they're moving on to a possible good playoff matchup coming up.
All right, and as David mentioned, we're keeping it in CG. I am talking about the other Casa Grande team, and that is CG Union. They are going to be hosting Tucson Sunnyside. This is a Thursday game, and this is a big game for CG Union. CG Union is currently number 13 in the AIA Power Rankings, and Sunnyside is number 19. So Sunnyside is looking for the upset here, trying to sneak into those top 16. And we talked about CG Union's offense all season long. But today I want to talk about their defense. Really want to highlight Gabriel Magana. He leads the team with 50 tackles. 12 of them are for a loss. As a team, CJ Union has 26.5 sacks for 91 yards. This is key here. Guys like Avian Williams, Jonathan Marley, and Leland Savadia. Each of them have 3 sacks for the Cougars. And then Derek Scott, he leads the team. 5 interceptions for 82 yards. This is going to be key. CG Union, really good, really powerful, dominant defense. The question comes on offense. Can they play a clean game? Because this has been what hurts CG Union. They start getting some momentum going, and then penalties hurt them, and they push them back, and then they're unable to score. So offense is the question here, but defense is going to do a really solid job like they always do. And hey, just 3 games left on schedule. These 3 games are crucial because, unfortunately for CG Union, it doesn't matter how they do. They kind of tend to keep slipping in the AIA power rankings, regardless of what the outcome is. So it's going to be interesting to see just how everything turns out here in these last couple of final weeks. David, anything else you want to add overall?
I'm going to add something to your matchup here. Look out for the Banks twins. They're finally back. They've transferred from Sequoia Pathway. They played their first game against Cienega a couple weeks ago, and they're going to be two impact guys for both on the defensive side, especially, and maybe even on the offensive side. We'll see, but more on that defensive line. That defensive line is going to be huge, adding those 2 pieces to this team, and that's going to be a big piece for them going forward, and it could be a deciding factor in these next couple games because these are both big games that they have left on their schedule, and they want to cement their playoff spot. I think the Banks are going to be a huge part of that as well.
All right, real quickly, here are our picks for the week. Got to give a couple shout-outs here, though, while we're doing this. Desert Sunrise got their first ever program victory win last week against Phoenix Alhambra. And then also our 1A teams. They are now entering the first round of the postseason. We only have 1 team, but San Manuel is in it. So congratulations to San Manuel on making the cut. As always, be sure to tune into Pinal Central for all of your local news coverage.